Here we go. Does it work? We'll see. First live stream, alt center. Here I am. Why? Who the fuck am I? What is alt center? Why am I alt center? And on and on. So if you're at the website, alt center means you're alt, you're passionate, but you're not super right and you're not super left, but you do super care. You know, people have said if you're in the middle, you stand for nothing, which is not right. You know, the more you stand for and the more you're not subscribing to one side or the other, the more you converge on the center. I will agree that if you stand for nothing, you're in the center, because like that's just a big fat zero, but not the other way around. So I decided to put together a quick list on the things that seem to be of concern today, seem to be the things that polarize us. And I mapped out where I stand on each of them and where it averages me out to be, which is slightly right of center. And I'd say 10 or 20 years ago, I would say I was slightly, if not somewhat left of center. And right now, I would tell you that somebody who's like, you know, like a lefty, you know, a super woke lefty would say, I'm like alt-right, you know. You got like a hippie pot smoking Joe Rogan, who they say is alt-right. Dude, fucking watch a few episodes. That guy's not right-wing. Or, fuck, I don't even know who else. But that doesn't matter. Or maybe it does. And people who are, the goalposts have moved. So anyway, let's get into it real quick. Here's the little slide I put together to try to make some sense of, I think I didn't save this. Damn it. Give me 2 seconds so I can make myself a little window so I'm still in the picture when I talk to this. So I think that should be good. And move myself down to the corner and move this guy over. Sorry, bear with me. Let me just tweak this. Sorry, I should have had this done. Don't say I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Screw sorry. Okay. I'm gonna move this over. I'm doing this for fucking free, so. Okay, there we go. So there I am. I'm tiny. So I'm looking at the thing. I'm not looking at the camera because I don't have this memorized. So voters' rights. I was reading about that today. And really, I'll get into that. Immigration, abortion, of course. Abortion has always been a thing. Immigration really heated up under Obama, certainly under Trump, and now the shit show it is under Biden. Entitlements, so, you know, welfare, housing, bridge cards, aid for dependent children, certain tax breaks, right? Earned income tax credit, stuff like that. Taxes, always a right-left thing. Guns, always a right-left thing. Has definitely heated up in the last, say, really 15 years. But I mean, Dylan Klebold was like, Columbine was, I want to say, probably 90s. That's when it really heated up. Religion, right? What don't you talk about at Thanksgiving dinner, religion and politics, and then climate change. Climate change is also heated up, pardon the pun, um, over the last, oh, I don't know, probably 10 years. I mean, it's always been a thing. So where do I stand? I got my little dots, and if you look at the top, I got 0 to 5 going to the right and 0 to 5 going to the left. And where do I stand? So voters' rights, I say I'm a for conservative. I don't, I'd like to go through an article I read today. Um, I did an internet search and looked for, I mean, the screen of my phone filled up. And the third one down was the League of Women Voters, which I typically, I mean, I know it's left leaning and I don't care. I've always used it as a resource when I'm voting, and I think it's a good resource. Um, and I always thought they shot pretty straight. Uh, this article, it was poorly written and it was really kind of disappointing. Um, I don't have it up, but maybe I'll pull it up and go through it. Immigration, 4. We can't allow 2 million people through the southern border. And, you know, AOC was on Comedy Central before Christmas talking about we need documentation. She's such a freaking idiot. And Ilhan Omar, Twitter, you know, tweeting, immigration's broken, immigration's broken. Well, you're Congress. You're fucking Congress. Your job, if something that Congress controls, like laws and policies, if they're broke and you're not trying to fix them, you're not doing your job. Oh my God. So we need to know who's coming into this country, and we need to control it. Otherwise, you're out of control, and we're out of control. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Abortion. I put myself at a 3 towards the left. And some of these I kind of gauged what 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. So like an abortion, I would say, you know, 0 is kind of no opinion. You're on the fence. Let's say 1 to the left, you'd say you can get an abortion in the case of like a mother's health. You know, you're at risk, you're going to die. I would say 2 would be, you'd say, okay, you can have an abortion in the case of incest or rape. And 3, to me, is a very, very limited term abortion. To me, you know, once you're past 10 or 12 weeks, I struggle with going beyond that. You know, 4, I would say, you know, your first and second term, and 5 would be, you know, late term abortion, full on, my body, my rights. I'm not an incubator. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know, it's not a kid until it's born. And, you know, one of the arguments is the day before you're scheduled to give birth, is it a baby? You know, and I think most sane people would say yes, and I think there's people who say no, and I can't agree with that. And then climate change, fucking, you go to oh my God, Chuck Schumer's page. I was going to say Joe Manchin. Chuck Schumer's page, and you click on environment, and it says right there, climate change is an existential threat, period. Plain and simple, or something like that. It's not plain. It's not simple. And right now, it's not an existential threat. It could become an existential threat if we don't do anything and or ramp up our contributions. But, you know, I had myself as a 0 on this, but I'm a 1 because I don't think it's an existential threat today. But to say that we pump 35 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere every year. And to suggest that that has 0 impact on greenhouse gases, I would say is not realistic. 1 year right now, CO2, I think, is 0.1% of all the gases in the atmosphere, which may not sound like a lot, but actually, without the greenhouse effect, or the balance that it's at, we either smoke up and burn or freeze to death. Anyway, so this is where I stand. I guess, voters' rights, I really kind of got into today. And so this article I read that I mentioned, League of Women Voters, I don't understand how voting in person, I should have printed it out and gone through it. It says that we don't need to have people vote in person with IDs anymore because the level of fraud is like 4/100,000ths of 1%, which comes out to like, in the state of Michigan, at a 50% turnout rate, 160 fraudulent votes, which is pretty low. It's lower than I thought it was going to be. But so it suggests that, and it says that that's the best one. So we don't need to do it anymore. Well, wait a minute. If it's the best one, it suggests that it's the best process. So this article is just really, really, really bad. It's not that thought out, and it totally doesn't see the logic in its own argument. This is my quick video. I'm probably not going to keep this because I really wanted to talk longer. So I'll redo this. I'll keep it up, but I'll redo this. But real quickly, you can see. So those average out, did I say to a 1? So I'm slightly right of center the way I see things today. It's a moving target. It doesn't move every year, but it's moved pretty quickly in the last 5. Again, people who would have been seen as slightly left of center are seen somewhere between slightly and very much right of center, probably myself included. Anyway, so I'm back. Bridget Fetisi, if you know who she is, she's got this thing about the politically homeless, and that's her term. So I don't want to steal it or hijack it. But alt center, if you feel you're politically homeless, and Bridget, if you wind up seeing this in a search, talk to me. Because I think that, alt center is someplace where people could kind of wrap their head around and say, yeah, alt center. I did some kind of arts and charts and some bell curves that show, where kind of I think we were illustratively through bell curves before all this craziness, and where we are now. And there's just not a lot of overlap in the way government works, like no way, no how. Certainly not an alt right and alt left in terms of private citizens. And then there's a lot of people who just kind of keep their heads low, who are centrists or, in the middle. And just like with the social things, kind of the woke left, hardcore right, they're afraid to say anything because you get shouted down by one extreme or the other. Anyway, that's my start. I'm going to publish this. If you watch this, thanks for stopping by. If you have feelings about this, I will have an email address attached shortly. So when you see this, it'll probably already be on. And let's straighten things out, man. Let's straighten things out. Calmer minds are not prevailing. And that's a problem. We got the people who are loud and boisterous and at the tail ends of the bell curve, and they're wrecking our fucking country. That's how I feel. So let's not be afraid to speak our mind and bring sanity back into the picture. That's what I got to say tonight. Thanks a lot. Take it easy. Bye-bye.